Live in Cape Town. And Liabo, I think the focus has been on the big miners, traditionally strong in this sector. It must be hard at this time to think of getting in.
Francis, good evening. Good evening. It's anybody's guess that obviously if big businesses are reporting that conditions are not so conducive for them in this climate because of softer demand, a higher, lower commodity tariffs, you can only imagine the kind of pressure that a smaller business or a smaller entity has to go through, or what it has to go through to make ends meet. I went around today asking around, trying to find out who does small business and what the environment is like for them. I managed to find Mr. Brighton Gwavava. He is the Group Managing Director for Airite Sheet Metal Group. He does a couple of things, Francis. He does geometrical laboratories, airite, metal engineering, and also food services. And he must have a clearer picture of the industry because he is in the mining industry and he's managed to come to the Mining Indaba. So we'll find out from him what the climate is like and how he's coping in these conditions. Good evening, Bratton. How are you doing?
Good evening. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Can you give me a brief synopsis of the kind of industry, the climate for a small business like yourself is operating under the conditions that the mining sector is under right now?
Okay, thank you for asking. Obviously, the climate is quite tough at the present moment, given that the metal prices are depressed and costs are going up. But definitely, you just have to come up with some innovative ideas on how you can actually survive in this environment. Obviously, one thing for a business to survive is that you have to make sure that you watch your costs, and you also have to offer what the market is actually looking for. This is how we're actually managing to survive. Otherwise, without that, just the common thing, you cannot survive in this environment.
Many of your peers probably cannot make it to the Mining Indaba because naturally it is a high cost to attend a conference such as this one. However, do tell me about what your expectations are and what your experience has been here at the Mining Indaba, and what you're hoping to get. Were you able to meet up with some people that perhaps could help you with your business in future?
Okay, there's this principle that I have heard when I was growing up and I believe in. It says that a rich man will remain rich because he lives like a poor man, and poor people always remain poor because they try to live like rich men. This is the way I've tried to conduct myself. This Mining Indaba is quite an expensive event, so what I normally do is when they advertise for the first time in May, I make sure that I pay when the prices are still half of what you would normally pay when you pay right now. And then I also book my hotels at that particular time. So in essence, I attend this conference at half the price that a normal guest would pay when they actually come and pay at this particular time of the year. So this is how I've actually managed to attend this conference against the odds and the ends. Then what I'm expecting to get from this conference is, this conference gives me the opportunity to network with suppliers, to network with the consumers of my services. The conference gives me the opportunity to get new business. It gives me the opportunity to get repeat business. In most cases, it is very funny. When you meet a client that you normally serve at the conference, they believe that you are a serious supplier. And when you come here, they always want to do business with you. This is my 4th time coming for this conference. And in all cases, I've actually managed to get repeat business here, despite the fact that even when I'm in my office, I constantly talk to those clients and they don't come to you. But when they see you here, they see that you are a serious business person and you know what you're doing. So I always get surprises. Like this year, in terms of numbers, you see that this conference, there's not as many delegates who attended this conference compared to other years. Obviously, I don't have numbers, but by visual inspection, you can see that there are fewer delegates this year compared to other years. But for me, I made the best conducts this time. So it's not about quantity as well, it's about quality.
Okay. Bratton, thank you very much for your time and thank you very much for your insight. Francis, as you may have heard it, if there are small business people watching the show right now, there's valuable advice that we've just got from Bratton. Pay for your tickets and for your accommodation and for your packages early. It saves you a lot of time. Do come to network. It does pay off. You'll probably meet some suppliers, you'll meet some new business and some new investors. And we'll hope that next year, more and more businesses, will be able to have the money to come and attend a conference such as this one.
Thank you, Liabo Setho, and all the best to that smaller mining business owner. Well, the alternative Mining Indaba, that's what we call it, staging what it calls itself, staging a peaceful protest outside the formal Mining Indaba. Now, those protesters want the Mining Indaba to focus more on the plight of mining communities. The alternative Mining Indaba represents more than 350 members of civil society organizations. The alternative is calling on government to create and implement effective legal mechanisms to investigate and prosecute environmental damage. They also want government to promote beneficiation plans and are calling on companies to protect the safety of communities.